It is great to be alive this morning and to know that God has awoken us out of sleep and out of slumber. Welcome to Gospel Health and Healing Network. Today we look at 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 6. And Peter says, "Wherein ye greatly rejoice, though now for a season, if need be, ye are in heaviness through manifold temptation." Peter here is stating a fact that every child of God needs to understand and needs to use to their advantage as we trod this life together. And that fact is that life is full of trials and temptation. You see, it is one thing to experience trials, to experience temptation. But if we would encounter them without knowing that they are parts of our lives, we would have problems dealing with them. But when we come to terms with the fact that life is filled with trials and temptation, it becomes easier for us to bear them. Why? Because they are an integral part of life. We may not like them. We may not appreciate them. Some of us may not deal well with them. But understand this, that it is inevitable that trials and temptations will come. And once we embrace that fact, and we are settled in our minds that trials and temptations will come, we are setting a foundation whereby we can deal with them and even deal with them successfully, deal with them with the right mindset, knowing that our Heavenly Father is with us. And as a part of life, these things will not triumph over us because our help comes from the Lord. When we consider trials, let's look at a few of them. Sickness is a trial, disease, suffering, sorrows, ridicule, abuse, loss, disappointment, criticism, loneliness, emptiness, and the list goes on and on. And basically, the list has no end. We are bombarded day by day with these trials. And as I said earlier, they are a part of life. And it will do us well to acknowledge that fact, to accept that fact, and look at trials from the onset that, well, as we face today, we will face trials. But because I know that the road is bombarded with trials, I can walk down the road with confidence, prepared to meet everyone, knowing that my Heavenly Father watches over me. Trials are matched with temptation. And like trials, there are all sorts of temptations that we have to face. To name a few: greed, selfishness, which seems to be our greatest enemy, our greatest temptation, selfishness. And we have to meet it daily and face it like the brave, standing like the brave to the foe. Hoarding, drunkenness, deceit, strife, immorality, sorcery, indulgence, backbiting, whispering, reveling, drunkenness, anger, gluttony, envy, jealousy, uncleanness. And this is just to name a few. For the list goes on and on. God lets us know that these things are a part of life. And now, knowing that they are a part of life, we have to deal with them. Look at this. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13 tells us, there hath no temptation taken you but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, and that is very comforting. It may be annoying to know that we have to deal with trials and temptations daily, but it is very comforting and reassuring to know that God is faithful. Watch this. Who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. So 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 31 gives us here some very comforting words. Although we will face temptations and trials daily, we rely on not our strength, not on our power, not on our ability, nor on our knowledge. It has really nothing to do with how wise we are or how foolish we may consider ourselves or consider others. It says God is faithful, who will not suffer or allow you to be tempted above that ye are able. So God knows your threshold. God knows how much you can take. God knows how much pressure you can bear. And the Bible is saying that He is faithful and He will not allow the temptation or the trials to ride above your ability to deal with it. Watch this. But will, with the temptation, also make a way of escape. So with every temptation, and this is a wonderful, sacred promise, that with every temptation, God will make a way of escape. Why? That you may be able to bear it. So yes, we face temptations daily. Yes, we are tried daily. But God has provided a way of escape that we can avoid all of them, that we can rise above all of them, that we can live victorious lives so that His name will be glorified. Understand this trials and temptation in the context of what we have been saying in the past few sessions. We have been declaring that God has for us reserved in heaven an inheritance. And every child of God can receive that inheritance at the last day if we remain faithful to God. Paul throws in here that as we wait for the inheritance that is reserved in heaven for us, that daily we face trials and daily we face temptation, but God is faithful. And He will not allow the trials and temptation to overpower us. He has given us a way of escape. And I'm saying to you today that God has done all in His power so that every child, every human being can be successful. It is up to you today to take that door of escape. It is up to you today to recognize that these things are part of our daily lives. And therefore, in order to be victorious, we need to hold on to the mighty hand of our faithful God. Use the equipments He has given to us so that we can be triumphant day by day. And with every victory of every day, we can be encouraged and strengthened to face the following day. My prayer for you today is that God will reveal to you His door of escape. You will seek God for that door of escape. So when trials and temptation comes, you will stand firm, being victorious, so that you can be strengthened, so that when tomorrow's temptation comes tomorrow, because of past experience, because of a built-up, strengthened relationship with God, you will be able to stand. May God bless you and have a victorious, successful day.